Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
Mike, where are you?
I'm kidnapped. How does it sound?
Sounds great.
I mean, I can hear the van behind you, but I mean, as long as the listener knows that you've been kidnapped, what do they want?
I've been kidnapped. They want my semen.
That's the best kind of kidnapping.
They're hungry for semen. No, I'm in the back of a van. We kind of made a thing so there's a bunk back here, and I'm under some steel flying down the highway for the Dracula's tour that begins tomorrow.
Who's driving the van?
I don't know. I haven't met the other guys yet.
Oh, good.
In your band that you perform with? Yeah, okay.
I like that you are confident that in that answer, it seemed very clear to me that if I were to ask that question ever, it would never be, I'm driving the van. You don't drive the van, do you, Mike?
Oh, no, I drove until right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially I normally in the Gamblers, there's usually enough people that like to drive. But I was always an overnight driver guy because I don't like being up in the day. I like being awake at night like a vampire or a Dracula, if you will.
A vampire?
A vampire. Nosferatu.
I mean, that's good. You have good vampire lighting on you right now.
I do.
It's like a flashlight or something underlighting you.
It's actually my phone is underlighting because otherwise, there's nothing. You got nothing from me.
A sequel to Nosferatu 1.
Nosferatu 1. Very funny. I get it. It took me a minute.
We're going to mute Brian the rest of tonight, okay?
No, that was good.
That was pretty good. Yeah, so I'm glad this is working now.
Yeah, you look like you look loungy right now. You look like you're very comfortable.
It's all right. It's a little small, but I used to sleep back here all the time. It's a little cramped, but you know what? So is life. Is life.
Wow, it's very profound.
You should write a book of wisdom for public school teachers.
I mean, I think the NRA is going to do that.
Well, I'm glad somebody's on it. What kind of van is it? Is it like an Econoline? Is it an Aerostar? Is it a Previa?
But it's a little bit small. Yeah, I know it's a smaller sized Econoline.
What color is it?
It's white.
Oh.
The child or the van of
abductors.
Your mom's told you abductors, but it does have windows because abductors don't have windows.
Now, does it have any kind of like airbrush painting on the side of like a Frazetta print or something?
No, I do want to get a wizard with titties.
Yeah, throwing a fireball, right?
Yeah, but like the finger is like a witchy point finger. You know, like with it.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of extended in a weird way.
Right, a weird like
a crooked finger.
Ooh,
and the fireball is like a cone that comes out and from a very small point into a very big thing, and it ends in a ball, and it's about to end. You know, what's going to hit. It's gonna hit it.
Oh no!
A sign that says "paying tax."
The fireball's gonna hit a sign that says "paying taxes."
Wow.
Yeah.
Now is that a die 8 fireball or a die 12 fireball?
That's a good question.
It's level 2 cone of fire, right? So
level 2 cone of fire.
Whoa.
So yeah, it's an early wizard. Like it's not. He doesn't have a lot of XP yet.
I'm just glad that you found a way to make a political statement in such a bitchin' way.
Yeah, totally.
And it does look like you've been abducted. I feel like maybe this is a put on. Because now I see there's wood slats above you.
Yeah,
maybe you're in a trailer.
Yeah, and this lighting really gives it a little.
It does look like you're in a trailer.
It's kind of Blair Witchy. I'm feeling kind of Blair Witchy here.
Yeah,
right. Well, you're clearly not claustrophobic.
How long have you been driving? How many days?
Oh boy, it's been about 3 hours.
Oh wow.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're hanging in there, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
We're all thinking about you on the road. Mike, you know what I like about this the most is it really speaks to the national dedication to the international listener.
Yeah, well, that's
that you
true.
have.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm embedded right now. I'm embedded.
Mhm.
I'm embedded. Yeah, of course. I miss being in the studio. Of course.
Right.
But
right.
but it is nice. I'm kind of the modern day Charles Kuralt, where traveling from town to
Bring that
town.
reference back.
Up and down the aisle.
I know. I need to do a get to know your podcast about Charles Kuralt.
Tony had a mistress he traveled around with that whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I have to forego the get to know your podcast this week because I did not prepare one because I got abducted and I'm in a no. I just did just between touring and stuff and actually I am. We did just leave from Austin, but on Thursday I flew out to Denver, Colorado. And I did the High Plains Comedy Festival, and that was super fun.
Nice.
And then at the end of the High Plains Comedy Festival, I did The Gamblers played with Radioactivity, and it was like a thing called Rocky Mountain Ripper Fest.
Ooh.
It was like a 3-day festival, so I didn't really see much of the bands. I did more comedy stuff the whole time, and then I flew home yesterday and was exhausted and had about 12 hours at home, and now we're back out on the road.
My lovely wife tried to get me to fly out to Denver.
Wow. And you said no?
Yeah, it was like last minute. It's been weird. I always feel weird going out to shows of bands of people that I know. Weird.
Not that weird.
I mean, it's you're working, right?
I
always feel like, you're working. You can't hang out. You got to work.
You're one of the people that I would allow to make eye contact with me.
Oh, well, that feels good. If I'd known that, if I'd known you would have acknowledged my existence, I totally would have gone.
Yeah, I would have let you run around and grab stuff for me.
Right.
Oh, that would have been cool. I totally would have done that.
I feel like Mike would have said right before he went on stage, "Hey, Brian, I'm going to pretend to do some audience work, but I'm just going to single you out. Just go with it." You feel like that would have happened, and then you would have just frozen in the moment?
I don't think that would have happened. No. I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
No, that wouldn't have happened. No. I tried doing not this weekend, but a couple weeks ago. I was like, because that crowd work it's a skill, and and there's somebody up front, and I said something, and they laughed, and I said, "Hey, lady," I says to her, "Hey, where are you from?" And she's like, "Atlanta." I was like, "Atlanta? That's a pretty cool town." And then I said, "Well, that concludes my crowd work." That's all I had. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get good at it and be able to go like, "Look at this fat fucker right here.
Oh, man.
Stupid fat piece of shit.
Why do you keep
sitting up in the front
me?
with your big fat fucking legs?"
You should totally do that.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. It seems like it's mean sometimes. "You stupid piece of shit coming to the show. Hey, everybody, look at this piece of shit with their fucking fat gut.
Which other you fuckers paid to get in here?"
Yeah, you dumb turds.
Turd. Well, and turd tells people that it's going to get mean, but not too mean, right? When you call somebody a turd.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, nonetheless, I'm glad to be on the road, traveling America. I hope to find have some evidence of weird stories across this great nation of ours that I can share.
So live reporting of weird stories.
That's my plan.
You should definitely collect stories from the road.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to do that. I'll try and put together an audio montage of my travels for the International News Service.
That would be exciting.
If you could ask every gas station clerk the entire way, "Have you ever seen a ghost?" and record that, and just whatever they answer, that would be a great montage.
I'll do that. I'll ask every gas station attendant if they've seen a ghost. Yeah, and if they say yes, I'll get some audio.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me about it. Just let them go. Don't ask them any questions. Because if they've seen one, they've already got the story ready to go. It's in the pipe. They know it's going to be. I was at a house. It got real cold. It was weird.
Yeah.
I thought nobody was home. I kept hearing voices.
Could you do some paranormal investigation?
If I say we're haunted, I for sure will. The place we're playing tomorrow, I don't think it's haunted, but it's very old. It's called Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And
that's haunted.
The Sex Pistols played there, and Sid Vicious punched the wall, and it broke the wall, and they have a thing like a plaque commemorating the punched wall.
Wow.
But I'll tell you, it's not even that big of a difference for me because normally I ask I'm always talking to the gas station attendants, but my question is always like, "Do you know where I can find Coke?" Do you know where the drugs are in your town?
That could be your follow-up question. Have you ever seen a ghost? You still get your work in.
Yeah, totally. Hey, do you know where I can score? Do you know where I can score? Well, now that we're fixing up right now I'm tying my arm off. You ever seen a ghost?
Right.
Oh.
2 birds, both of them get stoned. Well, how are y'all doing?
Fighting insurance companies because somebody hit my car. It's my life now.
Why don't you go hit theirs?
Oh,
If you go hit their car, that's the law of Hammurabi.
No, they didn't have cars in Hammurabi's time.
No, they did. They had you had to use your feet to make them go.
So Fred and Wilma lived in Age of Hammurabi.
No, they had all kinds of stuff. They make them roll.
They had the Flintstone cars,
like convertibles. Yeah, and they had all kinds of shit then.
Working at the quarry every day.
Yeah,
at home.
It's a living.
I think we got to do the intro now.
Yeah, I guess we do. Yeah.
Oh, it's time now.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with
I am Brian Camp.
I am man on the scene and traveling investigative journalist Mike Wiebe, and I think hopefully back in HQ, the central nervous system, we've got the Mixmaster, Mark Ryan.
You guys are just now getting to the intro? Jesus Christ.
Well,
I think we've only been recording 10 minutes.
I'm embedded. I'm embedded right now. There's flames all around me. There's...
We're pretty sure that Mike is in a steam trunk. Steam trunk? What do you call that?
Yeah, steam trunk.
Steam trunk. Somewhere
Steamer trunk.
on a ship, somewhere in the Pacific.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Smells like salt.
That's something.
So this week, we have a bit of a theme.
Oh.
Because we have 2 arts and culture stories and a bonus story, and they all have callbacks to something we've discussed before. And then Mike might have some tales from the road for us.
Okay.
Mike doesn't have shit for us.
I mean, he kind of already gave us tales from the road, so
Well,
might have already heard those.
I've got more tales about getting tails on the road.
Oh, getting tail on the road.
And specifically, I'm talking about the video game Sonic the Hedgehog Part 2, which is when they introduced tails. Equally as quick, able to fly for brief periods.
But he couldn't roll? Was that his thing? And Sonic could?
Yeah, his 2 tails made him so he could float around and fly.
No. Did they high five and switch out? Or was that just Diddy and Donkey?
I think they did high five and switch out. And it wasn't until episode 4 that they revealed that Tails was violently racist.
That's what killed the Genesis.
Was Sonic the only good game on Sega? Because I feel like Sega had a lot of crappy games, and then they had Sonic.
Space Harrier was good.
Yeah, Space Harrier was fun. People used to talk about Phantasy Star.
I played that a few years ago, and it was not good.
Well, you played it a few years ago.
But Sonic still holds up. You can still have a good time with Sonic.
Oh, while we're talking about video games.
But there are a lot of things I had a great time with.
Uh-huh.
This is
yes, Brian, continue.
I was going to say, instead of us always talking over each other, since I can't see you now where there's weird, awkward pauses, we're trying to be too polite. It's like our old phone etiquette has kicked in. And I was going to say that now that we're talking about video games, did you know, Mike, that Mark recently played Discs of Tron?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I did because he sent a picture in the group thread.
Yeah.
How was it, Mark?
Oh, I know you saw it.
It was great. It was super fun. I've never played that before. And
where did you find it at?
They opened a cider-cade in Fort Worth.
Oh and
it's enormous.
Yeah.
They have like 3 Tempests machines. It's like there's so much stuff there. It's crazy. But I hate cider.
It sucks, and their cider is fucking god awful. It's so gross. Sweet. I asked for the least sweet cider they had, and it was like sucking a snowman, Frosty the Snowman's dick. What? I don't know that Frosty the Snowman's dick would be taste like candy. But I was trying to think of, I think there's got to be some Christmas-based creature that has candy for a penis, right?
I don't think that's in the lore.
I don't.
I mean, like maybe not American bastardized lore, but like Nordic or like Norwegian or like Icelandic.
The kids.
They're into some weird shit, you know? They like believe in like Santas that just come and punch you in the face and stuff like that.
So you mean like the Yeti that's in Rudolph?
Yeah, kind of like that. The Humble Bumble?
The Humble Bumble. I couldn't think of his name. That's not. Is that right?
I don't know. There's one part where the guy goes, "You're looking at a humble bumble."
Is that a reference to Abominable?
Oh, it's just called a Bumble. Yeah.
Oh, is he? He's a misfit toy.
Yeah. No, he's like a Yeti who's just misunderstood. So he's kind of a misfit toy in a way.
Maybe he's a misfit toy who escaped. That's a bummer.
Like the big coolers?
Hey y'all, I'm in the middle of editing, so I'm gonna cut out. But I just want to stop by, say hi. So
is it any good?
Well, yeah, because you have a guest.
Fucking dick. You need to get to work.
Oh man.
No, it was a really good episode though.
Hey, Mark, we missed you in church the other day.
Huh. I'll try to make it next time.
Okay.
All right. See you.
See you, Mark. So our first story comes to us from UPI, United Press International.
No. Wait, UPI, okay.
Yeah, UPI is actually the original. So International News Service was a service like the Associated Press. And in the 50s, they merged with UPI. And so the original INS is part of UPI.
Oh.
Right.
History lesson.
One time I got a UPI and it stung.
Cranberry juice.
Yeah, that's what I had to drink. Bunch of cranberry juice.
So way back. Oh, damn. So way back in episode 21, we discussed a Philadelphia cafe owner who created a record-breaking 510-foot or 155-meter long cheesesteak. Recently, another sandwich record was broken in Mexico. During Mexico's 17th annual torta fair, teams of chefs from local sandwich places teamed up to create a 242.7 foot long or 72-meter torta sandwich in just 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
There's turtles in it?
That's a tortuga. The sandwich was declared a Mexico City record, but it's unclear if it's a world record since Guinness Book doesn't currently have a listing for longest torta. For those who don't know, like Michael, tortas are a type of traditional Mexican sandwich with pork, beef, and or chicken, which are served on a soft roll, and then they are grilled or pressed, and then they're garnished with avocado, chili peppers, tomatoes, and onions. Portions of the record-breaking torta also contained exotic meat such as ostrich, crocodile, and buffalo.
Ostrich, crocodile, but it seems insane that you're going to make something called a torta and not put some turtle meat in there.
I think that's an excellent point.
My character in Elden Ring uses turtle meat all the time.
That's
how you make rations.
You know, Mike has made enough Elden Ring references that an Elden Ring blog on Instagram follows us.
No,
really?
Yeah, like a big one.
Well, they're probably just cool guys.
That's awesome.
Or gals that want to listen.
That's awesome. I'll let them. They're listening right now. I'll tell you, I'm still working on it. I'm in the capital city, killing the balloon guys over and over again.
Oh yeah,
that's fascinating. I'm sure our listeners really want to know about that.
I
think they do.
Actually, I think they do. They want to know about the zeitgeist of the most popular game of this year.
I agree.
Anyway,
I might start my second playthrough.
What do you think you'll play this time?
I don't know. Maybe a magic user, maybe a faith build, perhaps.
Yeah, I would like to try a faith build or an arcane build.
That's what I did the first time.
So, have you ever heard the story about how Johnny Cash shot a man in the head for offering him turtle meat stew?
Yeah. No, it was because the guy made fun of Johnny Cash's Elden Ring build.
Not Johnny Cash, Johnny Paycheck.
Johnny Paycheck's Elden Ring build probably wasn't very good.
Johnny Paycheck's Elden Ring build would be probably something real crazy. Like he'd probably like put everything in vitality and just try to like just keep hitting me in the face.
Yeah, what are you going to
tire out?
That's right. Well, I love that we're doing something that I guarantee there's been at least one recorded session of people assigning certain Elden Ring builds to famous people.
Yeah.
No.
We should do that.
Yeah, that would be good.
Make up character sheets for people we don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll get on the Elden Ring blog show.
Oh, yeah, that'd be exciting.
Maybe they'll invite us on. It would be exciting. So this torta, this giant sandwich. I remember when we talked about the hoagie, I believe it was, or the
giant cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak, yeah.
Did I say back then? I probably did that. I just don't like calling things a hoagie. I don't like the word.
Okay.
It's too like I'm gonna go eat a hoagie. I'm gonna go eat a grinder. Both of those sound fucking gross.
Right.
They both sound unappetizing.
Hoagie,
and gross.
I feel like is Huxtable. Is that right?
Yeah, Dr. Huxtable called them hoagies.
We have to call him Dr. Huxtable now to differentiate.
Well, because the character called them hoagies. I don't know that Bill Cosby probably wasn't interested in them.
Yeah, I like to think that the character of Dr. Huxtable was not a serial rapist.
I hope so too.
But was a serial arsonist. Just creeping around New York City at night. I don't know where he's from. Was he Chicago? Was keep around Chicago.
New York.
New York, yeah.
Like Brooklyn, yeah. He'd just drive into the city and light stuff on fire and go, oh boy.
Every time he got called out to deliver a baby, he was really just burning down somebody's house.
Yeah.
That's how Cockroach lost his house.
Poor Cockroach.
So this torta.
Yes.
So when we were talking about the cheesesteak, we think we were all convinced that it was immediately infested with vermin and bacteria in all. Like, did people actually eat this?
Yeah, they sold it to attendees at the torta fair.
They sold it to attendees, but I heard the only attendee was Elizabeth Taylor. What?
God, I can tell you've been going to the comedy club.
Yeah, you can tell I've been doing jokes. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about incorporating like a horn with a bulb on the end of it to really let people know when you zing them?
It's okay to laugh.
I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I spend most of my set reminding the crowd that they are allowed to laugh because they tend to forget.
What's wrong? Who died? What's wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Just make sure they know it's their fault for not laughing.
It's a comedy club.
Did you guys come straight from a tragedy?
So the big torta, I'll eat a torta well before I'll eat. And what you described of the food in it, I would eat this well before I would eat a hoagie, a giant Philly cheesesteak.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because ostriches, they're not native to Mexico, so that means there was some effort put into getting these exotic meats. And I'd eat ostrich.
True. I'd eat ostrich, yeah.
It's probably good.
And they don't have feelings.
No.
What does have feelings?
Any animal that a manimal can turn into.
I thought he could turn into any animal.
No.
He can't turn into an ostrich?
No.
In theory, but until he turns into the animal doesn't get feelings.
He cannot turn into an ostrich. It would fuck him up. It would just kill him.
Why is that?
Because the cloaca's too big.
Okay, that's fair.
And two, the neck's too long.
Cloaca, by the way.
His neck would be too long.
Longer than a giraffe?
You can kill giraffes. They don't have feelings. Look at how stupid they look. You think something that stupid has feelings?
So you would eat a giraffe torta?
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'd eat giraffe. I don't think they're endangered, are they? Maybe wild giraffes are, but there's plenty of giraffes in captivity.
Oh, giraffes.
Yeah.
So you'd eat a zoo raised giraffe.
I'd eat any animal from a zoo.
Well, yeah, any zoo animal was probably. I was saying any animal from a zoo is probably suicidal. Therefore, their death is not, cruel. It's actually kind.
Okay, I see.
Right. So the meat tastes like relief.
Yeah, it's not about taste. It's just like I don't eat.
I thought that was Rolaids.
I don't eat beef or because I saw a video of a cow jumping around in a field. And I don't eat pork because of... a lot of people think it's because of the movie Babe, but it's not because of the movie Babe. It's because Bebop from Bebop and Rocksteady that beat up the Ninja Turtles.
That's the best reason I've ever heard.
Yeah. A warthog's very close to a pig. And the fact that, he's clearly into punk rock, which is, basically like, I'm going to kill and eat something that's my target demo. I don't think so.
So
the mutant warhog is your every song you write, you're in your head, you're picturing.
So
yeah.
I want you to know, Brian, and I think that you're going to be saddened by this.
Okay.
I know that last time you felt betrayed that the sandwiches, that the super long cheesesteak was just cheesesteak buns pushed together. And I looked, and this time it was also buns just pushed together.
That's not long. That's just a bunch of them next to each other.
Yes.
No wonder. Yeah, Guinness isn't even going to roll out of bed for that.
I mean, they rolled out of bed for the cheesesteak.
Oh, I said they got tricked into it.
Oh, yeah. They learned their lesson. They're not going to Mexico now. Not after that.
Yes, agreed.
So it sounds like we solved this one.
Okay.
Have we?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, motherfuckers. Here's what we said. Hey, motherfuckers, stop pushing sandwiches together and saying that they're long. They're not. We're on to you. I'm saying next time I hear a motherfucker do this, I'm going to go to a lab and scientifically create a mutant warthog and a mutant rhinoceros and have them come down and just break all the shit.
Wow.
Do you have sufficient mutagen to do that?
Oh, that is a good question.
I'm working on it.
So our next story comes to us from Vice.
Which one?
Yeah.
Pederasty. What does that mean? I don't know if that's something that might be
that's not a good
kid
one.
touching. That ain't a good one, man.
Yeah, you just really took the podcast down a dark turn. Now we got to win the audience back.
Yeah, I don't know that vice is a strong enough word.
Yeah, that's not a vice. That's a
criminal act.
I always felt like vice is something that you can get away with in another country.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My vice is that I own too much taxidermy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be a vice.
Just all over. I mean, you guys have been over here. It's all over the walls.
Right. And I can see it in the back of our nest. Just nothing but ostrich heads.
Oh, they mount well because of the long necks.
It's just nothing but ostriches giving head.
Back in episode 52, we discussed people who are making jewelry from breast milk. But now it turns out some jewelry designers are using another bodily fluid, semen. Apparently, this was started when a Canadian jewelry designer named Amanda Booth was challenged to create jewelry from, in her words, man juice. She developed a process using her husband as a sperm donor and came up with what she calls Jizzy jewelry.
The juice is loose.
She gets the samples in sealed specimen tubes, then opens them and then dehydrates them, powders them, mixes them with clay, sculpts them into the requested shape, and then bakes them. She says she has to wait until the end of the day to open the samples because it makes her studio reek with the smell of semen. She also said that most of her requests come from people who are playing out sexual fantasies. Some have other reasons. For example, one man was getting a vasectomy and wanted to memorialize what he was losing. While a teaspoon is enough for most orders, it can reportedly take a very long time to collect enough samples for larger pieces.
I'll do it in 10 minutes.
What kind of assistance you have to...
You'll never win the game at that rate.
Well, yeah, that's true.
In addition to Jizzy jewelry, Amanda Booth also offers jewelry made from breast milk, cremated remains of loved ones and pets, fur, and locks of hair.
Well, I liked her work the first time when her name was Robert Mapplethorpe. Boom. You just got roasted, lady. You just got roasted by the best of us. Me.
But she's Canadian, so she can't get an NEA, a National Endowment for the Arts grant.
Yeah, they haven't started to subsidize pornography. Well, first, to the guy who was getting a vasectomy.
Yeah.
You don't stop producing semen. You stop being able to transmit spermatozoa, I believe.
Uh-huh.
I believe you still have an ejaculate even after a vasectomy.
Oh, yeah, man. You can still shoot that shit everywhere.
That's the language I was trying to avoid with my.
It'll be a little less. Maybe it has a little. No,
it's just not as juicy. It's not. It's not as viscous.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's what all the doctors are saying.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that on a quote on a vasectomy billboard.
10% less juicy. Like that's the selling feature.
Yeah. However, we can get no more babies to be born. I think that's whatever it takes. Y'all seen that movie Children of Men?
Yes.
Fucking good.
5-0.
Is that a utopia for you, Mike?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But I will say, I thought it was so funny. I believe it's the album called Load by Metallica. The artwork is, I think it's a Robert Mapplethorpe. It might be some other guy, but I think it's a Mapplethorpe. And it's like a mixture of like blood and cum. And it's like a photograph. They like took a slide, you know, like when you crush a slide to look in a microscope. And there was bloody cum. The artist made bloody cum, and then they made a slide of it. And it's a close up of that. And the album's called Load or whatever. But what's funny about it to me, which is like, it's kind of and it looks just kind of like a lava lamp or something like that.
Right.
But what's hilarious about it to me is that they made all these like all over print Metallica shirts that say Metallica, have the bloody it's like all on the shoulders. It like wraps around the whole shirt. And anytime I would see someone out wearing those, I would just giggle with delight knowing that they had no idea what that implies.
I don't think I knew that. I knew the name of the album, but I don't think I remember the album art.
Yeah.
I kind of remember. I mean, I vaguely know what you're talking about.
There was Load and Reload.
That would have been Best Buy era for you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I just I like that Jimmy Hetfield is a little bit of a prankster.
Just a merry prankster.
Yeah. I think, though, if there was a Christmas character named Mary Prankster, he would have a candy cane dick.
That's very close to a full circle, Mike.
For sure. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
We're cum jewelry.
Oh, yeah.
Cum jewelry.
Right.
What when you get, so let's say you're getting a vasectomy and you're getting a piece of jewelry of your cum to memorialize that event. What would you get it in the shape of?
What would I get it? Brass knuckles.
Oh, brass knuckles?
Nice.
Probably, yeah.
So our next story is a bonus story. If you want to listen to this, go to our Patreon and subscribe at least the $3 level.
Bonus.
That's the Knights of Kevin level, and you get access to this and all our other bonus stories. And I'll give you a little taste here. This deals with turning industrial waste into candy.
Oh.
Yeah. You want to hear this for sure. Might be some recipes.
I'm intrigued. Now, what steps will one have to take, Kevin, if they wanted to hear this?
Well, I just told you, go to patreon.com, search for International News Service. We'll pop right up. You'll see our logo. And you subscribe at least the $3 level, the Knights of Kevin level. And you can listen to this very story. And you can listen to the last story that went up, which had the filthiest thing that's ever come out of my mouth said during that story.
Well,
yeah, that's right. You heard it, Brian.
That begs a comment. I did hear it.
Can you disagree?
No, it was pretty gross. Yeah, well, those that seems like an easy series of steps for someone who wants to be a good citizen of the world.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something confidentially. It's easier than pledging to your NPR station.
Oh, that's true. And guess what? We're never going to fucking do? Harass you for more money.
Send you a tote bag. Oh wait, yeah, harass you for money.
Tote bags are cool.
Well, we're not going to send.
Everybody
I mean, that's effort.
No, we don't do that. No,
we do have a tote bag on our Redbubble, but yeah.
And it is still super easy to get a sticker that is guaranteed to have a monster drawn on the back of it by Mike Wiebe.
That's true.
That's super true.
So, Mike, before we go, I think you have a tale from the road for us.
A tale from the road. Well, I'm out here on the road, crossing these highways and byways of what we like to call the good old US of A. And sometimes, though, the good old US of A is not the good old US of A when it comes to border security.
Oh.
Wow.
So one time I was on tour and we were coming in and out of Canada the entire time. And you were crisscrossing through there. Now, I happened to have a warrant for my arrest from a speeding ticket in New Mexico from, several years prior.
Now, was this were you in Mexico? Was this the time when you were ruining a young man's mind by showing him a video of a Pennsylvania politician blowing his brains out on TV? Is this from that era?
This was later. This is later on. I was actually en route to go. One of the 2 times I've ever been snowboarding. We were en route through New Mexico to. I can't remember where we went snowboarding, but
okay.
Yeah, I got pulled over because I was going too fast or whatever, and the cop had a fucking stick way up his ass.
Well, that's so unusual for cops.
Yeah, I know, a real drill dough of a guy, and but I forgot the ticket. I didn't know. I just forgot about it. It was like seriously like 6 or 7 years. So every time I would cross back into the border security guards in Seattle or just as going east would say, hey, you have a warrant out for looks like an old speeding ticket in New Mexico, so you might want to take care of that. And I'd say, yeah. And in my head, I would think, no, I'm not. I'm never going to take care of it. We were going down from wherever back into Detroit, and I'm sitting in the we're 5 minutes away from my destination.
That's exciting.
We're
especially for the listener.
Yes, especially for the listener. And I'm in the van, like we're going through the border security, and I'm sitting in the back with my eyes half closed, listening to my earbuds, which had, cords at the time. This is before your crazy AirPods. Anyway, and all of a sudden I see people like the band guys like shaking their hands in my face, and I look up and there's several border security guards, guns drawn, all around the van, and screaming my name. And so I immediately started to. They're like, get out, get out. Everybody's freaking out, and then I realized that I had a tab of Vicodin in my pocket. I had a big old Vicodin that was not prescribed to me, and I needed it because I like it, and because it makes me feel good. And so on the way out, and I remember that immediately. So I'm on the way out, and I don't know how I did it without him noticing. I just kind of quickly did a weird turn movement and went in my pocket and then put it in my sock, and was able to kind of do that. They're just screaming at me to get out, put me in handcuffs, throw me in a cell. But it was, I was just I didn't say a word really. I just was like, yes sir, no sir. And right before they locked the door, I was like, this might be because I was like, I don't no idea what's going on. I was afraid, my doppelganger killed somebody or something.
What's his name?
Brad Pitt. You've seen him. But so I'm in there, and then but I was like, oh man, they frisked me, but they didn't. I was like, I don't know what's next. So it was this tiny little cell, so I eat and chew up this Vicodin, and I'm just sitting there, and it was a pretty big one too. And I'm just sitting there for a while, and then after a while, it starts to kind of kick in. I start feeling, I'm like, man, this is not as fun as it usually is. And then this border security guard comes up. The guy opens the door and starts screaming about me, how I need to stop wasting their fucking time and take care of my bullshit. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, it's just a speeding ticket. You're wasting our fucking time. I was like, I think you're wasting your time. Because I was high at this point. I'm just like, whoa. I was like, how come every small municipality that's, that has one border guard is able to look this up on their computers, and it's Detroit. It's huge. Right. You're the only ones that do that. I think you guys need to chill out. And they're like, I'll put you in jail for whatever. I'll send you straight back to New Mexico. But I knew they weren't going to do that because
this was the U.S. border guards, not the Canadian border guards.
This is a U.S. border guard.
Yeah, that makes so much more sense. Okay.
So they screaming at me and threatening to get me sent to New Mexico. But I only said one or two kind of snarky things, but I was immediately kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna. I was like, I'll be quiet because I don't want to do this anymore. But I was like, what world is New Mexico gonna spend money to get me back for a $60 parking ticket or whatever, $90.
No world.
Wow.
No world does not
So
exist.
how fast were you driving when you got this speeding ticket?
Well, I don't remember. It was probably some shitty speed trap in the middle of nowhere in some shithole New Mexican town, some town that exists exclusively because it collects speeding tickets.
Right.
Because it slows down suddenly and no one notices. And that's my tale from the road.
It just ended a little sad, Mike. It ended like, oh man, like it's. Did you?
I strangled the guy.
So, Mike, whatever happened with that speeding ticket?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you, Kevin.
Paying it
I was
right
like,
now.
I gotta pay this. I was like, I gotta pay this speeding ticket because I do not want to deal with this again. And so I tried to track it down, and it was so old. Like it was something like a 12-year-old speeding ticket, and the county didn't have computerized records for it, so they couldn't find it for me to either pay it or expunge it. And I can't remember. We had to take it to some kind of crazy lawyer to get them to kind of like get it to disappear, because it's one of those things like, I'll pay it, but they're like, we don't have record of the ticket. I'm like, well, America has record of the ticket, and they reminded me of it every fucking time I go through any fucking border. So yeah, but it got taken care of, and I don't think I had to pay for it. But I probably had to pay a lawyer more than the ticket.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, it's great to pay lawyers. Fucking awesome.
It is great. So I think that wraps up another week of the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. Tell your friends they don't need to make jewelry when INS is a gem that's already out there and it's free. Check out the INS merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Hail Ashnard and the all-living light.
They didn't hear the bonus story. They don't know what that means.
Oh, it doesn't matter. He still has to say it.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.